I spent hours comparing N8N, V1 and V2 side by side, and I found one visual change, one behavior change, and one migration tool that would completely change how you upgrade. Let me show you. If you use N8N to run client-system AI agents or just to keep your backend automations running in the background, this video is for you. By the end, you will know what actually changed visually in V2, the one behavior change that can break human in the loops flow, and how to use the migration report to actually upgrade without breaking anything. I will walk you through everything using a real AI agent workflow that hits Slack and Perplexity. We will test it in both B1 and B2 side by side. So this is N8N B2 in front of us right now. At first glance, it doesn't really look widely different from B1. That is actually a good sign because the foundation is the same and the muscle memory that we have developed still works. So let me show you the first change that you will notice as soon as you run something. So I have this AI agent here with Slack tool and Perplexity tool. I'm going to ask it to research voice AI and send those results to Slack. So watch what happens when it runs. The good thing is when nodes are thinking, you now get this sleek red outline automation circling the node. It feels a lot more futuristic than the old style where the red spin just sat inside of the node. Once everything finishes, you get the familiar green outline and grid connection lines, and the processing state looks cleaner and more obvious at a glance. You will also notice that the nodes themselves look more embedded into the canvas. That subtle 3D card effect from V1 is gone, and V2 everything feels more flatter, more minimal, more modern, which I like it, to be honest. If I copy this workflow and paste it into V1 side by side, V1 looks bulkier, colors are louder, especially around AI tools. But let me know in the comment, do you prefer the flatter V2 look or do you prefer the chunkier V1 style? So on the left I have N8N V1 in the cloud editor, and on the right I have my self-hosted V2 instance running on Hostinger. In V1, when you expand the sidebar, you get overview, personal, all of the options that we normally have. It is fixed, like we cannot make it wider, while in V2 you can still expand it, and now you can also drag the sidebar wider. In V1 you have to click your profile icon, then settings, and you are taken to a separate settings view, while in V2 settings live right there in the main navigation. Click it and everything is laid out immediately, which is amazing. Look at the canvas in the background too. In V1 the grid dots are also more obvious. In V2 they are more subtle, which makes the workflow pop a bit more and the background to be less distracting. Up top, the language has changed. In V1, workflows were active and inactive. In V2, workflows are published or unpublished. Functionally, it's the same thing, but it's just better for us to understand what is the state of each workflow. When you hit save, it feels almost instantaneous. This is not an accident. Autosave is coming, and this is a step forward to that. As of the recording of this video, autosave is not live yet, but it is planned for early 2026, which is going to be a huge for builders who have lots of work because we don't refresh it or it just randomly refresh it for some reason. On the home screen, the content is pretty similar. We have credentials, executions, workflows. The big visual difference is that in V2, you get a clear publish indicator, a little green check style badge instead of just a on and off toggle. Type autosave in the comments if you have ever lost a workflow due to a browser crash or just because your light switched off. Here's a classy agency style use case. You have an AI agent that sometimes needs human approval. In my example, the agent sends me a memo to Slack and waits for the team to approve it or deny it. The memo is simple. Hey team, we are moving our ice cream Wednesdays to Thursdays instead. In V1, I have this set up on a sub workflow that uses Slack and send and wait operation. The main agent calls the sub workflow and it sends the approval message to Slack, and then it waits. We go into Slack, the approval message pop up and we click approve, and then N8N finishes the workflow. But look at what the agent actually responds in V1. I have submitted the memo for approval regarding moving ice cream Wednesday to Thursday. Is there anything else you would like me to do? This is a problem here. The agent has no idea whether the team has actually approved or denied the memo. If you open the tools data in V1, you basically see metadata. You will see sessions ID, actions, chat input, memo, tool call ID, no useful, approved, true or false, or flag reaches the agent. If you dig into the execution history and see that Slack did return approve, or true, but the main workflow could never see it. Now we run the exact same setup in V2 and same sub workflow, same Slack approval, same memo, and this time after we approve in Slack and come back to N8N, the agent says something like, the memo to move ice cream from Wednesday to Thursday has been approved. Would you like me to help you with anything else? If you open the tools data in V2, you actually get the response from the sub workflow, including that approved flag. There is one more important detail here. A sub workflow can be inactive and still be triggered by the parent. Now in V2, the sub workflow has to be published before any other workflow can call it. So in V2, you must publish your sub workflows if you want to be callable. That's a difference that in V1 we didn't have to do that. When they finish, they can now also return useful data back to your main agent. The first quiet feature is the focus panel. On the right side, you have this focus panel that can show no parameters while you keep your full canvas in the view, which is amazing. For example, on the AI agent node, I can click the system message and hit the focus parameter button. That will open the system prompt panel on the side panel, and I can still edit the prompt there while I see the entire workflow, which is amazing. Same idea goes for other nodes. In the Slack node, you can focus the message body and tweak your copy while you wiring other parts of the workflow. That means less opening and closing modals and more continuous flows while you're building. Second quiet feature is the fast node navigation. On the left and right panel, you can jump between nodes without constantly double clicking on the canvas. Inside of the agent configuration, you can hop from the agent to the chat to the model, then down into the tools like Slack, Perplexity, just by clicking the config tree. You can now go into settings, hit the unpublished button instead of just toggling it off on the top. Inside of your N8N instance, head to settings, and on the left you would see a migration report option. When you open it, N8N shows how many of your workflows are already compatible with V2, what issues exist, whether they are workflow issues or instance issues. Each item has a level of priority and urgency and a link to docs so you are not guessing. This migration report is rolling out for both cloud and self-hosted community edition, so no matter where your N8N lives, you will have a way to sanity check before upgrading, which I recommend. Here's a simple way to think about it. Open the migration report, look for the biggest red flags first, fix your workflow specific issues, especially those touching sub workflow, waiting logic, and anything that is security related. Fix instance level issues like databases or configuration problems after, and rerun the report until you are comfortable. So that way you know when you are really ready to upgrade. In today's video, I show you N8N running in my self-hosted Hostinger setup. If you want a full video on how to do this, not only on Hostinger, also if you want to run it on your computer, put it in the comments so I know that I have to create that video. If you learned something new from this video, please hit the like button. Also leave a comment so I know what are your questions and what next video I should be making.